Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you've been doing well out there. So in today's video, I've got some exciting news for you about a rebrand that is going on right now that involves this channel, Integrative Psychonautics, and my new project that I've started, the Future Human Project. And I want to share with you why I'm rebranding and what that's going to look like and how that impacts this channel here. So if you're interested, please join me for the conversation. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it here. So let me just kind of knock out a couple things out of the way in case you don't watch the whole video here. Long story short, I am rebranding in the sense that I'm building a second brand, and it's probably where the most of my attention and energy is going to go. With that being said, I'm going to keep Integrative Psychonautics up and running. I will be posting. I'll probably be cross-posting between the two brands here. And I will still have all my socials for Integrative Psychonautics up. So if you're a big fan of only this channel and only this content, this will still be here for you. And it's not going anywhere. I'm not going to delete it. I'm not going to erase the brand and, pretend it never existed. This is a piece of a much larger body of work that I want to start working on. And this larger container for this larger body of work is the new brand. So the new brand's called Future Human Project, or the Future Human Project. And it's going to be a very different approach in a lot of ways. I'll explain more about it here in a little bit, but basically it is more of an open space for exploring and co-creating with the audience a conversation around what does it mean to be a human being, specifically a healthy human being, an aligned human being, an awakened human being, a self-actualized human being, and an integrated human being in this era we're moving into. And what does it mean to be a human being who's in touch with our humanness for the gift that it is in an era where we're going to have all kinds of technological, let's say, horrors and delights kind of beyond our comprehension here, right? So I think this tone of focusing on our core humanity, and this note and tone of focusing on what does it mean to optimize that and actualize that, and what does it mean to live inside of that, and how does that fit into this new world. I think that's a really important, highly relevant conversation to all of us, if I can be frank here. And I think I'm more called to that than I am to simply rehash the same content about trauma healing or psychedelic therapy and all that. So that being said, let me kind of share some of my reasoning here why I'm making this change. And, just to give you a little context, I've felt this change brewing in kind of my unconscious and kind of the depths of my psyche for a while now. If I can be brutally frank with you, I love the psychedelic therapy work and I'm not quitting that. I'm still coaching. I'm still going to be doing this work with people. But I started this work really as a doorway, as an entry point, also along with sharing what I've learned, into wanting to give more of a gift, a bigger picture, a bigger experience of actualization, a bigger experience of awakening and healing and connectivity with all of these different aspects that, these medicines can show us, right? And so in some sense, by keeping this honed in on this niche, right? The common marketing advice, if you study marketing, internet marketing at all, is to niche down to something very specific. And I might have overdone that because visibility is not great with this particular channel and these particular topics. So I may have overdone the niching, but also in that it's a vivid conversation for people who are in this work and exploring this, but it doesn't address the bigger implications of this work. And so I feel personally a bit constrained, and I feel like I'm not giving the full gift that I really want to give. So my fundamental reason here, really, frankly, is that I want to create a bigger offering for you and for anyone else who wants to kind of tune into the vibe of the work that I'm doing and kind of the thought current that I'm tapped into. For anyone who values that, and I get it if you don't, I want to make a bigger offering. I want to make a clearer, more coherent, more robust offering. And that includes courses, that includes all the social media stuff, right? So this is going to include, of course, another YouTube channel, which is going to be coming down the line here a little bit. I've already got a TikTok up for it. There will be a Substack for it, which is going to be the home base for this whole thing. So the early content will be on Substack first. There's going to be a podcast. There's going to be, let me see what else, IG, of course. It's going to be more full spectrum, both in content and in presentation. Okay. So let me give you the reasons why. So like I said, the first one is that I really want to give more value. I really do. I want to give fuller value, clearer value. I want to weave value together. On that note, a lot of times in my private coaching sessions with clients will ask me about all kinds of stuff that I've never spoken about here on the channel or written about on Reddit or whatever. They'll be like, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And blah, blah, blah. And they ask me these questions, and we have these amazing sessions and conversations that unfold out of these questions. And I realize there's a lot I can speak about and teach about and share about that I'm not offering here, again, because it doesn't fit in the niche. So this has been a real problem, and also something I've just been aware that there's a lot of value to give here. Okay, looking at my notes here just for a second. Other reasons, right. So I kind of said this, but let me put it this way. The psychedelic therapy conversation in and of itself, I know it's a hot topic right now, and there's a lot of emotion and interest and passion and discovery around it. From my point of view, it's kind of a redundant conversation, and it gets really tired to be a content creator for that conversation. And it gets really old to be rehashing the same kind of points over and over and over. And what hit home for me, so I went about a month ago to like a lecture series here in actually Boulder. And there's some speaking about psychedelics and the role of psychedelics in kind of introducing people to expanded states of consciousness and the implications of that and different forms of interesting topics that kind of get unpacked when we start using altered states of consciousness. And he said something that I guess hit home deeper than I realized at the time, which is that psychedelics are kind of like a doorway into another type of life experience. This was his metaphor. I'm kind of paraphrasing here. And he was saying, having the conversation about psychedelics over and over, about the medicines and the dosing, and here's how you do the therapy, and what are the, meaning making and integration and blah, blah. It's a little bit like talking about the door over and over and over, rather than walking through the freaking doorway and exploring the territory on the other side of the door. And I think he's right. And so this has really kind of evoked in me a desire to want to talk more about what is the territory if we step through this door that psychedelics show us, right? What does it mean to live a life of integration? What does it mean to live a life of awakening, a life of knowing how to heal as you've healed? How do you, live life forward, right? As a healed, spiritually aligned person? How do we build community based on that premise? What does it mean to interact with technology and where tech's going from that premise, et cetera, right? So for me, that's again, a juicier conversation. And then, the last reason I'll give here, if I can be frank, is that this channel is not performing well at all. And I know I've been transparent about that, and I've done things to try to tweak that and improve that, and maybe that will change. But again, maybe I've niched down too far. Maybe there's a little bit of shadow banning going on. Maybe there is some marketing shenanigans I could be doing better to improve it. Or maybe it's just not a searchable kind of thing, or the way I'm setting up the whatever. There could be stuff I'm doing, in other words, or stuff happening on YouTube's end. But for whatever reason, this channel is not performing well. And all my socials are doing okay, but none of them are thriving or exploding, which maybe means that perhaps my message isn't quite coherent and resonating and clear, and people don't recognize what I have to offer. It's not hitting home, etc. My assumption is that even with a very niche message, properly presented, it should still reach lots and lots of people, right? Even the most obscure little corners of the internet will get tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or more followers. So there's no reason that people can't relate to this content. They're just not finding it, right? And maybe that's on me. And again, maybe that's on the back end here. But long story short, I'm taking that experience and I'm looking at that and I'm going, Maybe there's a message here for me. Maybe I need to pivot. Maybe I need to learn from this and go, what did I do right? What did I not do right? What could be improved? And maybe I need to truly, truly pivot. And, I think part of that, if I can be frank with you, is maybe a message, from a spiritual angle here, maybe a message from my own unconscious, from life, that I'm underserving my capacity, that I'm not living at the fullest potential. And so I kind of got called out to really step up and to really live at my edge, to really give my full gift and offer what I have to offer and lean in and not be afraid. And so I'm going to run that experiment because life is precious, life is short. We're here with a purpose, or at least some of us are. I know I am. And I want to lean into that purpose even more deeply. So those are the reasons why. Okay. Now, if I haven't lost your attention yet, let me tell you a little bit about what you can expect moving forward. So first of all, with Integrative Psychonautics, I'm probably going to, I know I just made a video saying I'm going to post more. I'm probably going to post a little bit less if I'm going to be frank here. I'll still be checking in. I'll probably be doing more YouTube shorts, little 1-minute clips, and an occasional long form if I feel like there's something that really needs to be said here in this context. But Future Human Project, again, it's going to be all the socials. So Substack will be the home, but there's going to be YouTube. It's going to be a podcast. It's going to be an IG. It's going to be a TikTok. I'm not going to do X or LinkedIn or any of that stuff yet for now. The focus is a conversation. The focus is a container. It will be idea exploration. It will be an inquiry into what is a future human. What does the future of humanity look like? How do we want to create that? How do we want to build that? One of the core themes is going to be right relating, and what does it mean to rightly relate to ourselves, to each other, to technology, to, the global community. We're going to be exploring stuff like concepts like digital hygiene or brain rot or, culture wars or bad thinking. And this will all trace back to, psychedelics and spiritual experiences and, my coaching work. And really what's at the heart of all of it is still, and I'm going to be talking about it more, this secure self-relating modality that I've kind of discovered and unpacked. And I'll be sharing and kind of connecting the dots between how does attachment theory and understanding the right relationship impact not just you and the regulation of your own nervous system and your mental health and your sense of well-being, but your relationships and your relationship, to technology and your relationship, to, all the social forces pulling at us in all these different directions. There's so much to talk about that doesn't directly fit inside of psychedelic therapy or directly fit inside of, this container here. So it's going to be this open-ended exploration. It's going to be all kinds of concepts that I've been wanting to share with you, but just don't quite fit here. I'm going to be posting regularly on Substack. Again, so whatever form of social media you like to follow, whether it's a podcast or reading Substacks or long-form YouTube or short-form clips, it's all going to be there. It's going to be a lot of innovative, juicy ideas you've probably never thought of before, right? Like, how does attachment theory inform how we relate to AI? Right? Like that's a whole conversation we need to have, especially right now. But that's, again, not something that quite fits in Integrative Psychonautics. So this is more of a passion project for me, but I feel like it's also going to resonate more for people. I feel like in a weird way, it's going to be as deep and broad and perhaps even abstract as it might get. It's going to be more relevant and more pertinent. The integrative psychonautics side of things is still going to be a part of this larger picture. There's probably going to be a record label involved at some point too, and electronic music involved, and maybe psychedelic therapy music involved, and interviews with visionaries from all kinds of different, it's going to be very cross-disciplinary. So I'll be interviewing people who are kind of visionaries at kind of midwifing what a future human might be from all over the different walks of life, whether they're philosophers, whether they are therapists, whether they are spiritual teachers or tattoo artists or, designers and engineers of architecture, or blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be talking to all kinds of people, right? I'm also going to be sharing, again, all kinds of thoughts and risks on this. The tone is going to be different. I want to be clear about this. It's going to be integrative. It is going to have a more spiritual leaning to it. It's going to have a more mythopoetic leaning to it. We're going to be looking at weaving a new mythology for who we are as a container for these ideas, right? I don't want to get overly mythopoetic here and lose all the precision and the clarity and the detail of what I want to talk about. But I feel like we do need a new narrative, a new vision for who we are as human beings in this time and in this era. And I want to co-create that. It is going to be real, it is going to be raw, it is going to be perhaps controversial or irreverent in places and in moments, because I'm certainly my own person and a free thinker, and that tends to rub people the wrong way, right? Let's be real about that. It is going to be deep. It is going to be challenging. It is going to be curious and exploratory. It's going to be all kinds of things. I personally am thrilled about this, as you can probably tell. But I just want to kind of pop on the camera, update you guys on what's going on, and let you know. So if this interests you, if this sounds like something that might be your thing, do me a favor, and you might want to go just click on the Substack link down below. Join with your email for free, and you'll get weekly Substacks. I'm going to do Substack posts first and probably YouTube videos on those topics later afterwards. Is my first idea here. We'll see if that sticks. So you'll get Substacks, you'll get notifications, you can read. When the YouTube channel gets up and running, I'll be doing YouTubes on this stuff, which will probably be deeper dives and not just rehashing or reading the content, but like a deeper unpacking of the content. And we're going to kind of go from there and again, build a conversation. This is another thing, obviously, I've been transparent about here on the channel, that there's been a lack of feedback. There's a lot of people who like to watch and listen and think about what I have to say, but they don't comment. So this is going to be much more of a building community, building a resonance, building a vibe, building a sense of connectedness, building shared voices, building a back and forth with you guys. Okay. So again, if that interests you, you can check out the Substack right now. TikTok should be up and running when you watch this. So you could check out the TikTok if you're a TikTok person. IG should be up and running. So you could check IG and there will be posts there. YouTube's on the way. It's been a little bit of a pain in the butt getting it up and running for whatever reason, but that'll be coming too. And I really think it's going to be a more fitting container for the conversations that are kind of necessary for this next era of ours. So anyways, that's all for now. If you watched through this whole thing, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Much love to you all. It's been an honor to share and create for you and converse with you and connect with you. And I want to do it more. So please come find me, come join me. And if not, this will still be here. We'll still be doing this too. Just won't be as frequently. Okay. So now you know.